This is the 2016 Mercedes C450, and today we'll be doing an outside walk around, an inside tour, and I'll show you guys my thoughts on the car. So starting off with the front of the car, we notice that we have a very aggressive front bumper with huge side vents. And the front bumper is the diamond block front grille, which comes off of the AMG GT sports car, and the LED headlights, which has the daytime running light trim on the top. And a cool feature about this is the further you stand away from the car, the brighter the lights appear to be. So moving on to the side of the car, this vehicle has the night package, and you can tell that by the blacked out mirror caps as well as the blacked out trim around the windows. In addition, it's got an AMG badge on the side, and that's actually the only AMG badge on the exterior of this vehicle. Moving on to the rims, it's the 18-inch 5-spoke rims, and you can actually see the cross-drilled brakes right behind it. And wrapping up at the bottom, we have a nice trunk lip spoiler, LED taillights, and a quad-tipped exhaust. Looking at the inside, you'll notice that this does have the Burmester audio package. Something you will notice later on in the video that I want to mention here is the contrast seatbelt option this has. Alright, what's up guys? So we're now going for a drive, and this has the 3.0 liter V6 with the twin turbo pushing out 362 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque. And kind of what I'm driving right now, I want to see how different it is between the different dynamic modes. Let's do eco first. So I mean, yeah, as expected, it's trying to upshift as fast as possible. Kind of save as much gas. I mean, it's pretty comfortable. I don't know what the suspension, the eco suspension does. I don't think it does anything special. I mean, the shifts are pretty smooth. This is the 7-speed G-Tronic by Mercedes, and it's been out for a while, so they worked out all the kinks, shift smoothly. So Sport Plus, automatically it's gone down to around like it downshifts automatically, really aggressively actually. Give ourselves some space. Yeah, it's got the little burbles and the cracks, that's pretty cool. I honestly wasn't expecting that coming out of a car like this. But yeah, I'm sure if you like shifted at higher RPM, it would be a lot more aggressive with that noise. Just I barely took up to 3.5, and the torque comes on really quickly. You really feel it right away, which is great. That's kind of the plus side of the turbos. But even in the like Sport Plus mode, I don't feel much with the steering in terms of it being a little stiffer. The gear there. Yeah, I wouldn't do this around like street roads, honestly. Let's go bring it down to comfort. So when you pick up a car like this, you really want something that's a good balance between luxury and sport, and I think this really kind of has a good blend of that with the different dynamic modes that you can choose. And it has kind of eco, comfort, sport, and sport plus, and then there's an individual mode. So just driving around real quick, the difference between eco and comfort is negligible with the exception of the throttle response. It really dulls it down. So I mean, on your commute to work, I think you're probably going to be an eco. But like at the end of the day, like the MPG on this car isn't kind of the highlight of it. It is a performance-oriented car to begin with. So probably comfort is where it's going to be at most of the time. There is the individual mode, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But right after comfort, there's sport and sport plus. So when going between sport and sport plus, it downshifted more aggressive. I think that was kind of the key thing I noted. Was the downshifts. And I mean, if you're going around street roads, I wouldn't recommend keeping it in Sport Plus the entire time, because it will downshift just to keep you in the power band. And if you're kind of going around the neighborhood, you don't want to really be in 3,000, 3,400 RPM going 15, 20 miles an hour. It's not the most comfortable drive when you're trying to kind of just go through the streets. When it's in Sport and Sport Plus, it actually between upshifts, it will kind of have that little burble backfire. It's not super aggressive, but it's there, and I think it's a cool feature to have. So let's actually talk about the C450 as a car and where it sits in the Mercedes-Benz lineup, because there's a little bit of confusion that I wanted to clarify, since it sits in a unique spot in terms of when it was made and what target audience it was going after. And basically, so back in 2015, that was like when this new generation of the C-Class was coming out. They had the C300 and the C400, and the 300 had a 2-liter 4-cylinder, and the 400 had the 3-liter V6, which is what we're seeing here, basically. And the 400 was a more premium version, kind of competing with the 335i. And what BMW does with kind of the M235i BMWs, Mercedes-Benz wanted to do with the C400. So they did the C450 AMG. And it's interesting because what was done was they kind of upped the power on the engine. They put 362 instead of 330-ish. They upped it by 30 horsepower, which is a significant amount. And I think it's perfectly kind of appropriate for this engine, like a twin turbo V6. That's a good amount of power to get out of it. And the interesting thing is that if you look up C450 like Auto Trader and stuff, you only see it for 2016 model years, because that's the only year it came out in. In 2017, they did the C43 AMG. So this is basically the first generation of the C43 AMG. And although it's not like a full-on AMG car, because it doesn't have like the hand-built engine and stuff, I still think it's okay personally for them to put the AMG badge on the C-Class, because yes, it's not a full AMG car, but it's the equivalent of the M Sport. And I think, yes, auto manufacturers are trying to use the branding of their kind of halo cars for their let's say non-AMG cars, but this goes above and beyond of like a AMG Sport Pack, which used to be purely aesthetic. So instead of just being purely aesthetic, they're actually saying, oh, we're actually going to up the performance, and that's what they did. So I think people kind of hate on it a little more than it deserves, just because they gave you extra performance, they gave you the drive select modes. And I mean, if it wasn't at all performance oriented, I'd say yeah, it's not appropriate, but they did give you the power, so it's there. In terms of kind of this C450 versus C43s that are coming out right now, I think this is underrated, because right now everyone's gonna be looking for a C43 on the market, kind of in the aftermarket used, and I think the C450s are gonna be the best deal. The only difference is, like I said, is the 7-speed versus 9-speed transmission. Being the C450 has a 7-speed and the C43 has a 9-speed. And I think I would personally take the C450 7-speed transmission. 2 reasons. One, you don't really need 9 speeds unless you're really hunting for the efficiency, but that's not the goal of this car. It's a sport luxury car. And 2, the 7-speed has been in production and has been in service for way longer. So they've ironed out all the kinks, and this was the last implementation that it has with this powertrain in the C-Class. So think about it this way. You get the high output V6 with the reliable 7-speed, or the more reliable 7-speed transmission. And I mean, I shouldn't say the word more reliable, because you have the 9-speed, which is being rolled out. It has been produced, but it's relatively new compared to the 7-speed. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it. It's a unique setup in terms of a car. And the interior is the same. You got everything you need from the interior standpoint. It's got the night package, and it's got the Burmester audio, so it's a really well kitted car. Yeah, those are my thoughts on the car, where it sits in terms of the current market of Mercedes. And yeah, I guess let's talk prices real quick. So brand new, this thing starts at $53,000. But kind of looking at these in the used market, I looked up Auto Trader, and they start at 30. They start at as low as like 35 up to, I mean, like 42, 43. And I mean, for what it is, I think anything between like, mid to high 30s, I think is a good deal. Just for what you're getting for in terms of the luxury, the ability to have the drive select, and the high performance V6. So it's in a unique spot, and I think it's something that people should pay attention to when looking for high performance C-Class in the aftermarket. So that's my main takeaway. Sorry if I was kind of redundant when I was saying it, didn't really kind of rehearse it. But yeah, we're gonna end it here. Actually, before I end it, I want to give a huge shout out to M Motorsports in Long Beach for helping me put this video together. And I'm gonna link their inventory and their website below in the description if you want to check out what they have. They have a good amount of selection, and they're priced pretty competitively. So I'll check them out. If you need some help, ask for Alex. Super nice guy, super helpful, big car enthusiast like us. And yeah, he'll help you find something. So yeah, thank you guys very much, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.